Sarah has come to pick us up in the feeder coach to take us to Lee Delamere service station. On arrival, we meet Barry, who will be our driver for the trip. He is busy checking off the other travellers who have arrived from their various pickup points. Our first stop was at Abergavenny, where we walked from the car park to the centre of the town for a morning coffee. Just look at these hats. Do they have a lot of weddings here?
Absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing.
Another view of the town with mountains in the background. Evidently, Abergavenny was famous for white periwigs. Following the sign, we found the museum and castle. Not that there was much to see of it left now, but it does give one an idea of how big it was. To celebrate the year 2000, Francis Baines designed and painted this mural, which was very impressive and the detail amazing. After a couple of hours, it was time to get back on the coach and resume our journey to Tenby. While waiting for the coach to come to take us to St David's, I took the chance to take a couple of pictures of Cordy Island, which lies off the coast of Tenby. At last Barry comes with the coach and we leave for our day trip. The first point of interest was the Cladow Bridge over the River Cladow. This lays between Nayland and Pembroke Dock and has been operational since 1975. We stopped to view Newgale Beach, which is 2 miles long and has a well-filled camping site. We got to St David's, which is Britain's smallest city and is famous for its cathedral. We had to choose between going down the steps or the slope to reach the cathedral. We managed the steps.
Inside St David's Cathedral.
A few views of the inside of the cathedral. I think many feet have walked on these tiles. A mirror has been provided to save craning the neck to view the ceiling. Here is the coach again to pick us up to go on to the next town on the itinerary, which is Fishguard. Barry took us to look at the fort, which is on a promontory overlooking the bay before going into the town. This meant we had to walk down a steep path towards the sea to view. Some only made it halfway, but still had a good view of the coast. Others stayed at the top and sat on a convenient wall in the sunshine. This is the town hall of Fishguard, where the last invasion tapestry is housed. This commemorates the last military invasion of Great Britain by the French, which took place in 1797. It is similar to the Bayeux tapestry, 100 feet long, and was sewn by about 80 local women and took 4 years to complete. There was a film showing how the sewing was done.
When the idea first came up of doing the tapestry, rather after the style of the Bayeux tapestry, we thought it was a wonderful idea to get everybody working together in the community.
After the evening meal, we went out onto the esplanade and noticed marks in the sand where the ice cream kiosk was towed back to base every night. The next day was free to do as we wished, so of course we explored the town of Tenby. This is the famous 5 arches in the wall which surrounded the town. We then headed down to the harbour, and as usual the tide was out.
I think we're going to see how much those salt and pepper strips are placed on the sheet.
We walked along the front so far, not envying the cars trying to find a parking place. We then turned back towards the town with views of the lifeboat slipways. There is also an inshore lifeboat station with inflatables lined up ready for use. This dog was enjoying running in and out of the sea, chasing a ball which his owner was throwing for it. This old lifeboat station is now a private dwelling. The current station is next door, where the lifeboat Hayden Miller is housed, ready for any emergency. Several boat trips go round the coast, and this was one of them. This statue was carved from a single ash trunk which was washed up on a Tenby beach. Here is where one could embark on a boat trip. There is quite a queue of people waiting their turn. This is a view of South Beach.
The walls of Tenby.
More views of the wall with an external view of the 5 arches.
So, this is the 5 arches in the walls.
What a lovely show of flowers outside this house. The tide has now come in and is covering the sand where earlier in the day people were queuing for boat trips. This man is flying his drone. I thought at first that it had been lost, but no, back it came. Even with the tide in, there is still enough beach on the south side for people to enjoy the sea, etc. Here we are getting on the coach to go to Carmarthen. Barry is kept busy loading the passengers' walkers. This is the oldest part of the town of Carmarthen. A new precinct has been built on the site of the former cattle market. Children enjoying climbing on the statues. Hope they weren't too hot for them. After the lunch break, we went on to Larne, where Dylan Thomas lived when he wrote the famous poem Under Milk Wood. Crossing this little bridge, we walked under the ramparts of the castle and viewed the Taff estuary.
Larne, where Dylan Thomas lived and wrote his poem Under Milk Wood. This is the estuary of Larne. It's all flooded in the winter. This, I believe, is the boathouse where Dylan Thomas wrote his poetry.
But it was too hot to go any closer to the white building in the distance where Thomas did his writing. These girls were taking advantage of the shade of the tree. As not everyone took advantage of the trip on the last day, we were able to sit in the front of the coach and experience what it's like to be the driver. I hope the cars are used to oncoming traffic.
I made it!
This shot is to show how green it was in Pembrokeshire.
We used to have to go across, and again I was able to get across, no problems. But just recently, the sand dunes and what have you have got so big, it's made it really, really, really narrow. And so I haven't. Has anyone been to St Govern's before?
We are now heading towards St Govern's Chapel, which is in a cleft in the sea cliff.
You can make a wish, and apparently it will come true. But I've done that a few times, and
General views at the top, with Barry going down the steps to the chapel. If he can go down, then so can I, one step at a time. It was all rather dangerous, but we managed it. There's Barry, who's going to get me back up there. Now we have to go back up. Others have taken advantage of the sea views and stayed up top. Here we are at the top, getting our breath back. Going back to the main road, we met this camper van and had to reverse to a suitable spot where it could safely pass. Barry set us a test as to what we thought this circular walled area was. It turned out to be a cattle corral in days gone by. Coming into Pembroke with its castle, which of course we had to visit. This is where Henry VII, father of Henry VIII, was born. This is inside Pembroke Castle. We had a cooling drink in the marquee before I took a few views of the rooms in the main tower. Time to leave and wait for the coach to arrive. I walked a little way up the street, but still kept the pickup point in view. Our next visit was to a Welsh love spoon workshop. Here on display were various types of spoon, including the longest, which was made from a single piece of wood. The owner gave a talk and displayed some of his private collection, which commemorated important points in his life.
Love spoons are carved for a variety of occasions. It isn't just the engagement with links and seeds. Somebody just mentioned recording drought, and Bob Geldof started Band Aid and Live Aid the following year. So for that one, Kyla and David. So 4 arrows. Children are like arrows. Happy is a man that has his quiver full. So this was Psalm 127. That's Psalm 127 and the timber that you have to use. But this one is probably the most popular timber for carving. Is lime. Right? And you're hitting. So you've got to be looking at that to make sure. Whereas you don't want to be looking at that. So with this one, you can see it.
Wherever you touch it.
So wherever you aren't going to concentrate on that, you just concentrate on the little bit. So it's just like an extension of your hand. Some of them used to just hit it like that.
The last visit of the day was Saundersfoot, which is just along the coast from Tenby. No, this ship is not ready to go to sea, but is going to be used as a coffee shop. It is possible to catch crabs here when the tide is in. As we were waiting for the coach on the last morning, I took a few still pictures of the sun rising over the sea. And here are some kite surfers out early on the beach. Can you see them? We broke our journey home by stopping at Cardiff Bay. This is the Millennium Dome and waterfront. This is where the former tidal bay and estuary have been barraged, so the water is now fresh from the rivers.
Cardiff Quay.
So that is how they get out of those floating balls, which they seem to have so much fun in. As we had time, we decided to go for a cruise round the bay. Here is the boat we went on. The water is kept at a depth of about 5 metres, which is shown on this measure, and is controlled by sluices in the barrage. Ready for our trip past the wetlands and around the marina, where there was no shortage of yachts.
allows the ships in winter to go out to sea.
Here are the locks which enable the boats to navigate between the Severn Estuary and Cardiff Bay.
To allow the ships to either come in or go out to the sea, which is just...
And these are the sluices which control the depth of the water. This is a view of the barrage which cost £220 million to build. It is possible to walk or cycle along the top of it. There is a viewpoint under these sails. And here is a water play park area for the children.
Play area for children.
We are now back at the landing stage, ready to go and board the coach for travel to Lille de la Mer and home. We arrive at Lille de la Mer as if by magic.